artist from Dumaguete, and it talks a little bit about its relationship with the capital, but also about how we use education to communicate visual ideas and visual arts practices.
The exhibit Promdi is, in a way, a representation of the contemporary evolution of arts in Dumaguete, yet somehow it's really embracing all types of creative arts practices also. With the influence of the creative pools in Dumaguete, like the literature, the music, theater, and arts, it somehow also molded the kind of artist that I am. The title of my work is Ritaso sa Handom, which basically means a remembrance of the past. So the works are basically made from upcycled textile, fabric art. Basically, that's my series of works at this point. So I'd go to ukay-ukay and buy these linen materials and eventually do some partly meditative structure also of processing my art. And somehow I believe that it represents a tapestry of those people who basically worn the textiles, and it creates somehow a bit of a story also with my process of doing it, and imagining also this, the collective of people who've used this textile, and now I'm representing it in a different manner, in a way, as an art form, fabric art.
It's based nga on parang yung processes ng university and kind of restructures yung naiiwan from the processes into this form. Plus also having them as copies available for people, it also kind of reperforms what the university does when it gives out these forms for free. The text is really based on yung application process, no? And it's the beginning of a student's encounter with the institution. Essentially, I've taken the text from the actual application form and then arranged it as if it were a vocabulary list. It's been very interesting, I think, for me especially, because my art studies actually never began here formally. So coming back allows me to look at my own practice and how I learned all these things. So a lot of it is about framing and reframing old knowledge and expected knowledge.
My work is entitled Dula Ta. Dula Ta in Bisaya means let's play. But it also connects to the process of making the pandan crafts. Actually, in the province, what we use when we go around and play, we use these small balls to hit each other and catch each other. Now, I have all these different colors, but made of pandan. Currently, I'm helping communities in Negros Oriental, particularly La Libertad. It's northern part of Dumaguete. These women are working with the pandan leaves. So they harvest these leaves. These are very thorny leaves, and then they process it and dye it with natural dyes. Also doing livelihood projects, empowerment for women. This is very interactive. You can do whatever you like to do with the raw material. You can weave, you can do the balls, you can experiment with the material.
This is one of my recent works, and it's part of the Sanctuary series, but this time it's more dreamy and whimsical. Prior to this work, I have really colorful works. So as you can see here in my painting, you can see corals, and just to give you like a trivia of this formation is actually love. I intentionally made this painting and also collaborated with an American Fulbright scholar. This Fulbright scholar, a friend of mine, she visited in Dumaguete, and we were at the Rizal Boulevard, and she picked up these random corals and she gave it to me, like 5 pieces of them, and these are them in the painting. I really love to play with the idea of space and time. Like, you cannot see horizon here, you don't know what time is it, like what time it's made or what's the current situation of affairs. About the experience in Dumaguete as an artist, it's really fun to be in Dumaguete because it's kind of remote from the big city. Well, as for me, like you can see in my art, we're more connected with nature.
I came up with this crazy idea. Actually, it started with a single plate in our class. Actually, gusto ng teacher namin na gamitin yung office supply materials para sa isang plate. Since ako yung last na dumating, ballpen at tsaka thumbtacks na lang yung natira. Wala akong choice, pinili ko ballpen. Ang rules doon, dapat hindi i-break yung pen. Dapat lahat ng content. Pero artist ka, di ba? I-break mo lahat ng rules para makagawa ka ng work. Yung mga estudyante ko talaga po, mga bata lang talaga. From preschool hanggang college level na po, may mga parent din po na nagjo-join sa mga workshops ko. For the gathering, kaya nga balik mo dun sa work ko po. For the gathering of the materials po dito, every workshop po na ginagawa ko, imbes na magbayad sila ng pera, yung mga discarded pens na lang po nila yung binabayad nila. Nagtiteach ako ng painting, sila po nagbibigay ng mga patapon na po ng mga pens nila.
So yung work ko, puso, patagal ko na yan kasama sa mga exhibitions. The first was the Bagasbas Arts Fest. And then na-expand, nadala ko siya until now. The title is Repack. Mas siya it's criticism on how we respond more. Mga bagay na naka-harm sa atin, like plastic. And we already have an existing packaging material that's really friendly to all. Siyempre, pag nakakita tayo ng, like yung dito very popular, yung binalot, alam mo, naggaling siya ng probinsya, not literally, but at least in concept ba na. Kaya tayo nagre-respond doon Actually, yung popularity ng binalot. Kasi ang tingin ko, parang psychologically, mga tao parang may longing doon sa what is provincial, na comfort siguro, ng comfort food or food na familiar tayo. I included some coconut leaves here so people can try to create their own puso. Medyo challenging siya kasi madami na akong nagawa na puso before, like 8 sako yung ginawa namin. And still nakalimutan ko pa rin. Kailangan siya ng practice para nare-review mo siya. Surprisingly, mababa yung tingin natin sa kanya kasi Promdi nga siya. Until subukan mong gumawa, doon mo makikita yung sobrang komplikado niya. So therefore, ngayon yung Promdi if we always associate puso to probinsyano or probinsyana?
The show, we wanted to really survey a range of visual arts practices. We're very aware that there are certain categories and that kind of the usual go-to when we're trying to understand art. But I think there's much more happening when we attempt to take away those boundaries, and the discussion becomes all the more richer. And I think the kind of critique or the commentary about genres is also reflected in this process, moving the work from province to capital, where there's a kind of movement through a system that reflects the market, whether it's the market for ideas or the commercial market or the market as kind of cultural field.